If I didn't believe you then, I believe you now. You showed me who you were, but I turned a blind eye. I didn't want to believe you. I painted over red flags with hope, covered warning signs with excuses, called patterns mistakes, called disrespect a bad day, called dishonesty confusion. Anything but the truth. Because the truth was inconvenient, the truth challenged what I wanted to see. The truth threatened the version of you I had created in my mind, so I ignored what was right in front of me. You pretended to care, you pretended to love. You pretended to be concerned, you pretended to appreciate the sacrifices, you pretended to value the support, you pretended. But pretending is easy when there's something to gain. You had no problem accepting my kindness, my loyalty, my support, my time, my sacrifices. You gladly took what I gave while giving me the illusion that it was being returned. And that's the part that hurts. Not because you were a stranger, but because you weren't. You sat at my table. You shared my space. You knew my heart, you knew my struggles, you knew what it cost me to show up for you. But somewhere along the way, your actions started speaking louder than your words. And God made sure I heard them. See, sometimes that courage juice, that liquid confidence, give you just enough boldness to expose yourself, just enough honesty to let the mask slip, just enough courage to say what you've been thinking when you thought nobody was paying attention. And that's the funny thing about truth. It has a way of leaking out. Sometimes through anger, sometimes through jokes, sometimes through carelessness, and sometimes through a bottle. What you thought was hidden suddenly becomes visible. What you thought was covered suddenly gets uncovered. And in that moment you told on yourself, you revealed what was sitting in your heart. You exposed what you really thought. You confirmed what your actions had been whispering all along. I used to question myself. Now I question nothing. Because sometimes people spend years carefully managing an image only for one unguarded moment to reveal who they've been the entire time. But here's what you didn't know. While you were exposing yourself, God was revealing you. While I was confused, God was providing clarity. While I was making excuses, God was removing the blinders from my eyes. I kept asking God for answers, and He kept showing me evidence. I wanted Him to tell me, He wanted me to see. I was praying for confirmation, and confirmation was standing right in front of me. God didn't have to argue your case. He didn't have to expose you publicly. He didn't have to embarrass you. He simply allowed you to reveal yourself. And when the truth finally surfaced, I wasn't angry, I was grateful. Because what I thought was pain was actually God's protection. What I thought was a loss was actually God's direction. What I thought was rejection was actually God making room for something better. See, God took over the situation the moment I stopped trying to control it. The moment I moved my hands, He stepped in the moment I stopped chasing answers. He started revealing truth. And now I understand. You weren't hiding. You were showing me. I just didn't want to see it. So if I didn't believe you then, I believe you now. And the greatest gift God gave me was the truth, not a new truth, not a hidden truth, the truth that had been standing in front of me the entire time. I kept asking God for answers. He kept providing evidence. I kept asking for confirmation. He kept pulling back the curtain. The truth wasn't waiting on God to reveal it. It was waiting on me to accept it.